As we move into this next hurricane season, are your major concerns right now?
So I think the first thing is to highlight Omaya Sosa and the Center for Investigative Journalism. They were the first ones to document and call out what we all were feeling and knew and had seen, which was that we had died in the thousands. And I think it's really important to highlight their work, and particularly they were able to gain a victory yesterday to have access to the number of deaths thanks to Squire Luis Jose Torres Asensio, among other people that were in the team. The 4645 number is a statistical mean.
Excuse me, when you say that they were able to gain access, that was a judge ordering the government of Puerto Rico to finally release
the numbers, finally.
The death certificates, actually.
That came down yesterday. Yep. So after come in June. Yes. And the numbers, we knew that it was going to be in the thousands. And I think it's important to not focus on whether it's 4645 or 5700, because we knew it was going to be on the thousands. The study remains within a 3-month window, which is September, October, November, December. And it looks specifically at the survey that they were doing, and then they extrapolate based on that survey. But it doesn't necessarily count all the people that went out of time, for example, all of our elderly and sick that maybe could have lasted, our knowledge bearers that could have lasted a little bit longer and suffered before they finally, their bodies gave up because they couldn't take the heat or the lack of food. I think it's important to that highlights not only that it was kept secret, but the fact that it was kept secret to serve a political agenda. In the case of Governor Rosselló, that day, right after Trump left, the government recognized that the number went up to 34. So when he answered Trump's question, it's very unlikely that he didn't know the number was not 16 already. So that, again, it's just highlighting that the numbers and the entire situation has been usurped to serve Rosselló's political agenda and the capitalists that are now taking over the island. I think the other part that needs to be taken into consideration, like you mentioned, is that the number of deaths now since January has continued to increase due to Maria, and we have not only the suicide rates that are increasing, but stoplights literally falling on people and killing them, power plants blowing up and catching fire and killing people, and then people that have continued to die because of the lack of the necessary and appropriate resources. So if we actually take into account all those indirect deaths, again, we're in the thousands of deaths. And coming into the next hurricane season, infrastructure is still very weakened. Houses are still with tarps. There's a lot of debris on the streets. The water hasn't been restored everywhere. Electricity hasn't been restored everywhere. The boat system, La Lancha, that goes from the main island to Vieques and Culebra is still not functioning properly. So we're in a very weakened state to face the new hurricane season.
I wanted to go back to that issue. The Harvard study only, as you mentioned, goes from September 20th to December 31st. Yet there were hundreds of thousands of people in January and February that still didn't have electricity, and so that there were undoubtedly other deaths that occurred in the early part of this year as well.
Correct. And there's still some that happened a couple of weeks ago because indirectly because of that. Like I mentioned, literally a stoplight fell, and the person that it hit recently died. So we've had continuous deaths due indirectly to the hurricane and its impact on infrastructure.